Hello, family. How you guys doing today? Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy E from the Dividend Passport Bro with another video. Now, today it's just our weekly motivation, inspiration type video. So, as you can see, guys, the channel is doing good. We are up to 164 subscribers, and all I can say, thanks guys for subscribing to the channel, sharing the content, watching the videos. For a very small channel, the watch hours is amazing for a very small channel. And I know as this channel, as we get this channel monetized, for YouTube to start paying me, a dollar or a penny or whatever to do for providing content, be very appreciated, right, guys? So, yesterday I was talking about, investing and not just moving money into your account, but also buying stuff once you move the funds, right? So we wanna pick it back on that today and keep that conversation going. Yesterday I was talking to a gentleman that I just met sitting outside in the front of my building, and he's on vacation and whatnot. This had nothing to do with investment, okay? And he was telling me that he wanted to, because he found out I work in cybersecurity, and he was like, you know what, I always wanted to be in cybersecurity. So I said, okay, so what did you do? He said, well, I was doing the CCNA and CCNP. Now, these are all, CCNA is difficult for somebody who's never done routing and switching and stuff before. This is not easy. Even me, I don't like it because I got to use too much of my brain power. But we were talking about that. I said, but if you want to get into cybersecurity, you're going at it the wrong way. CCNA and all that stuff, the more engineering type, path, right? I mean, they do have a security path, to, the CCNA stuff, right? The Cisco, that's pretty much Cisco certification, but that's way up, after you've gotten like 7 or 8, and maybe 5 or 6 certifications to get to their level, and they're pretty difficult. He was like, "Oh, okay. Well, I didn't have a mentor and all that kind of stuff." I said, "Well, I'm gonna give you free game right now. If you want to get into security, you need to get your Security Plus, right?" And I said, "Well," and then another thing I told him, I said, "Well," he said, "Well, I work in the hospital as a X-ray technician or something of that nature. I can't remember now. My attention span is very short." So, and I was like, "Okay," I wasn't really interested in that part of the conversation. I was like, "Okay, cool." He said, so I said, "Well, so what are you doing where you work? Do you talk to people who work in that line of work?" He's like, "Well, I don't see those people." I said, "Of course, you're not going to see guys like me. I work from home. Other people in the office, they don't come out. They don't come out to the floor if you're in a hospital." I said, "But you do see people that fix the computers and stuff, right?" He said, "Yes." I said, "So why don't you talk to those guys?" That's a start. So if you get your Security Plus, now you might be making a lot of money now doing what you're doing, but in order to transition, you might have to take a pay cut for 6 months to a year, maybe 2 years. It just depends on how eager you are as far as learning. But if you're doing CCNA and doing CCNP and all that stuff, that's very difficult. Transitioning to desktop support or help desk in the company you already work, you might get a pay cut. Then again, you might not do a pay cut. It might be a lateral move. So if you do that in 1 or 2 years, you can, from that point, you start having conversations with the people in security, because they communicate with each other, right? They communicate with each other in some companies. Now, some companies they do not. Especially endpoint security will communicate with help desk sometimes, to do certain things that I don't have time to do, because I did that when I worked at McKesson. He's like, yeah, but you know, I was like, well, I'm just giving you an idea. He said, well, I want to do it part time. I said, well, I mean, you can do it part time 4 days a week if you work in the SOC. The SOC, that's Security Operations Center. Now they have 3 shifts. They have first, second, and third shift. So you can work in the daytime, you can work at night. I mean, in the evening, or you can work at night. And they have people that, you know, and your shift can fall from Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then the other shift will start on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and it ends on Sunday, right? So that way on one day you have double coverage, because the people, you know, end of the week and new people starting the week. So he's like, yeah, I don't know if I want to do that. Well, like I say, if you want to get into something, you have to make sacrifices. If you want to invest money into the market, you have to make sacrifices. Now, you might have to get 2 jobs. You might have to get 3 jobs. And 4 if you can. Now, in some cases, if you're driving trucks or something like that, you're not going to be work 2 jobs. I mean, 3 jobs, but you probably can work 2. You probably can get a part-time job to where you work at the airport or something, driving the pilots and stuff to the gate or stuff like that on the, like Delta. I had a friend who got a job doing that part-time. I think they make like $20-something an hour, but you have to have a CDL. And she drive for at the time she was driving for MATA. She drove the train. She drove the bus too, but she drove the train. So, and you can do that, and you get free flight privileges with that job, right? You get free flight privileges, and that's why I say, guys, you always have to have a goal. What you want to do. You can say, well, I want to make. I have $10,000. I want to invest it. What can I invest it in? It's the same kind of question, right? You got to have a goal. What you want to do. How long you want to do this? How long you think you're gonna get to what you need to have your nest egg to retire, or to be financially independent, right? So you have to have all these things planned out. You can just say you can just come up with hypotheticals. That's not going to really work out, because I mean, there's nothing substantial to what you're asking, right? You haven't really thought about it. You just throwing numbers out to somebody to give you a blanket advice that might not work for you, right? That's what they say, personal finance, right? Personal finance is your personal. Everybody is different because everybody's pockets is different, and everybody's risk level is different. Now, if you're 37 years old and you want to retire in 10 years, right, compared to somebody who in their 20s, you have to invest more money. You have to save more money, right? You have to do more than a younger person to save more money, because if you don't do that, then you're going to have problems, right? You're going to have problems because your bucket is not going to be as full to where, I mean, you feel comfortable, right? So take for example, if you are 35 years old and you want to retire at 65, right? You need to put in at least close to $600 a month in investment dollars, right? Because if you say, and a 20-year-old only have to do maybe $150, $160 a month if he want to retire at 65, because it's not only the time that it's not only you timing the market to make sure the market go this, do that, right? No, some people wait for the market to go up, whatever. For me, I daily cost average, but I mostly buy more when the market is down, right? That's how my portfolio has jumped so high as far as income, because I buy things when everybody is trying to get out. That's when I buy. When they reach that risk level and they're trying to jump out, that when I go in there and I say, you know what, I'm gonna buy some more. I'm gonna buy some more. I'm gonna buy some more, right? So usually after the market go red and I buy on that day, the next day, my portfolio, my income for that month goes up anywhere from $400-$500, sometimes $1,000 for that month. So you have to think about it that way. If you say, I want to retire at 65, I want to work till 65. That's okay. But based on your age, you have to invest more money. You know what I mean? I got my mango here, y'all. I got to have my mango. Depend on your age, you have to invest more money. So, and the older you get, the more you have to invest. So we take it up a notch. You go from 35, you had to put in $500-$600, and you go to say, okay, well, I'm 45 years old, and I'm going to work until I'm 65. So at this point, that triples, right? That triples. You have to put in more money, because if you are 45, you want to retire at 65, and you don't have nothing saved for retirement, nothing in your 401k, nothing in your Roth, then you got to put close to $1,700 a month. Close to $1,700 a month you have to put in to be able to retire at 65. This is at age 45. So the older we get, the more money we have to put in to retire. And on average, the older you get, the better your financial situation gets. Not for everybody, but across the board, right? It's supposed to get better, because you have worked all the odd jobs, gain your experience, so you get to make more money, right? But because you make more money doesn't mean you're going to be rich, because people are not responsible, right? I have friends that make 3-4 times more than what I make, but they're not millionaires, because they live more extravagant lifestyle compared to me. I might get invited to certain outings because they know that I'm not going to waste my money on certain things. So certain things that they're doing, they won't invite me, because I'll be like, oh man, thanks bro, I can't make it out there. I got other things going on. What I got going on or not, I won't go, because for one, it's a waste of money. And I'm not the one to impress people. I don't care about impressing people that I don't even know. People that are not going to bring anything back into my life. Right? So I do what works for me. As I share with you guys, I've been sharing more with you guys for the last month. Well, almost a month now. Close to a month. I think it's a month. I've been sharing with you guys details of my finance and what I'm doing to retire. Now, technically, I am fired. We're financially independent, right? The retire early part, it might not happen when I'm 55. I might continue to work, because my job that I work gives me the freedom to be wherever I want to be, whenever I want to be, right? And I'm out here right now in Cartagena. I'm looking at the sailboats sail back and forth. When I finish with this call, I'm gonna take my friend to the beach. So we're gonna get on the boat, go on one of them islands, and go chill there for a day. This is something I haven't done in a while. But you only live once, so you have to enjoy the fruit of your labor, right? So we go back to the numbers. So if I'm 55 and I say, you know what, all right, I missed it. I missed 45. I didn't do nothing at 45. I was partying, was flying back and forth to Cartagena 4 or 5 times a year, spending 4 or 5 racks on apartments, buying bottles, and paying pay to play, and doing all that good stuff. Going to DR, Panama, Brazil, wherever the passport bros goes to be passport bros. And now I'm 55 years old, and I'm like, oh shoot, I'm depending on Social Security, right? I don't have nothing invested. I don't have nothing invested. I'm waiting on Social Security. Guess what? You can do it. But in that 10 years, if you want to retire at 55, right? That's 10 years. Now, guess what? You got to put in close to $6,000 a month. Now, you probably might not be making 3 or 4 grand a month to be say, okay, how you gonna put in 6,000, close to 6,000 a month if you're barely making 5 or 4 or 3 or 2,000 a month? That math is on math, right? So you can forget about it. But you can still do a little bit, right? The numbers are there to guide us and say, hey, if you don't start taking care of yourself now, literally, financially, you take care of yourself. You go to the doctor, you get checkup, you do all that stuff to take care of yourself. You can make all this money, but if you don't learn how to safeguard your money and grow your money, you're just gonna spend it. People get rich, they win the lotto, in 3 to 5 years they're broke. Professional football players, they retired, in 1 to 5 years they're broke. Because they were around all the wrong people. They wasn't around the right people. Now, all the guys that play professional football need to be watching my channel, because they would by the time they leave professional football, right? Because if they're making 4 or 5 million a year after they pay all their taxes, right? You can live in a nice house, depending on your city or your lifestyle. You can still drive a nice car. I mean, if you're making a couple millions a year after taxes, you can still drive a nice car. You can live in a decent house. But why are you playing? Think about it. Well, when I stop playing, am I going to be able to afford to live in this house? Can I get a regular job and afford to live in this house? Or can I set up a business and afford to live in this house? If your answer is no, then you don't need to be living in that house and paying all that money. You need to live in a house that you're going to be able to afford when you stop playing football, basketball, baseball, whatever professional sport you're playing that pay you a lot of money, right? So at 55 years old, you got to come up with almost $6,000 a month. So if you're making all this money and you're not putting nothing away, and you get to 55 years old, it's like, okay, well, nobody told me what I had to do. Okay, that's fine. There's a lot of people out there, channels out there that talk about investment, financial investment, budgeting, and all that stuff. I don't really talk about budgeting on here. I think it's I talk to, when people do one-on-one for me, I go in the back end and talk to them about their finance and see how their finance is and see how much they can invest. Because a lot of people, right? They have an idea what to make. They might be like, oh, I make $65,000 a year. Okay. But after taxes, when you pay your taxes, when Uncle Sam take his cut, and if you have a 401k that you're matching and put money in there, after you've done all of that, how much do you take home? Net, your net. That's what I care about. I don't care about my salary is $150,000. Yeah, okay. But when you pay your Uncle Sam take his money, you put money into your 401k, before you put money into your Roth, because the Roth is, you did already tax that money, you put that money in there, right? I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the money that is the take before you get taxed, right? Because that 401k, that money is taken out before you get taxed, right? So that's not an after-tax dollar. You got to pay taxes on that later on. You still got to pay taxes on that money, okay? So if you're making this chunk of money, right? Football player, basketball player, whatever, professional athletes. You can be playing table tennis, volleyball, whatever. But you're making this chunk of money. And I didn't do this research. I don't know what the average tenure is for professional basketball players, football players. But I think on average, it might be 3 to 5 years on average. We have the guys that play for a long time, the Stockton, the Malone, and all those guys. The older guys back then, they play for a long time. But you have guys on average, most of the guys, that just rotate in and out, or they go play overseas somewhere to extend their career. But if you're making a lot of money, and you listen to the guy, you the lowest guy on the team, you get paid the least amount of money, but you're trying to hang with the guys that are making 25, 30 millions a season. I mean, I'm just throwing a number out there. I don't know. I don't have any idea. I know baseball players get paid more money because they play more games and stuff. But if you're making maybe 1 million a season, and you want to hang with the guys making 25 million a season, but your ass are making that 1 million after taxes, which is less. By the time they take out taxes, and you got to pay all these different jack tax and all these other taxes, you might be left with $600,000 a year. So if you got 3 years to play, or your career can end in 5 years, but you're the little guy on the totem pole. When the next draft comes, you might get cut. They might bring in fresh guys, better players, and if you're the worst player on the team, per se, you might get cut. Cause I know they have practice squad and all that stuff, but you might get cut. Now what? You got to go find another team to play for, and you be moving back and forth. So if you're making after taxes $600,000 a year for playing football or basketball or any kind of sport, I'm using sport because a lot of guys watch my videos. There may be a few women that watch the videos, but majority of the people that watch my videos are men, right? Because this channel is geared to helping passport bros know how to protect the money they're making to be able to live abroad or travel more and not worry about money, right? So you guys can understand what I'm talking about. So you don't want to be the guy making less money, but when you go out, you want to be buying bottles and doing all the other stuff. And the guys that are making more money than you, most of the time, they don't even pay for that stuff when they go out, because people probably pay them to go to where you going, right? People probably paying them to go to where you go, but you out there with them hanging out, right? But that stuff they're getting is free, but your stuff you got to pay for, because just for them to show up, they got publicists and all this stuff that getting that other back end money that people don't know about, signing deals and stuff in the background. Because if you're a guy that making $600K, ain't nobody probably even know who you are. I mean, if you're playing basketball, maybe, but if you're playing football, you put a helmet on, ain't nobody know who you are, except your family or friends, or you might get on the game and make a good tackle or something. Yeah, people can call your name for that day, but a lot of people don't know who you are. If you're on this practice squad, nobody definitely don't know who you are, except you come from the practice squad and go in the game and do something good. So if you know that if I leave football, I got to go drive trucks, I got to go work in the warehouse, I'm going to go from making $600K to making $35,000. You need to be living a $35,000 life now. And all that money you are making, right? Don't go buy, I'm going to buy my mama a house, I got to do all this stuff. No. Your mama did what she did for you because your mama was responsible for you to get you to be an adult. Now you got to do what you got to do for yourself and your children. It's okay to buy mama a house, but you can't buy mama a house and then you broke. And then if you stop playing, you got to go live in the house that you bought for mama and you ain't got nothing for yourself. Okay? Now, other people give people wrong advice and stuff like that. This is just my opinion. I'm not giving no advice today. This is Edwin Talk. We just talking, baby. All right? So that way, by the time you get to 55, you're not worried about money. Can you imagine in your 20s if you put $100 and something away a month, right? In your 20s, by the time you retire, 90, almost 92, 93% of that money, the growth in that money, gonna come from returns, not your own money. To get you to a million, we're talking to get you to $1 million, right? Because everybody want to be a millionaire. To get to $1 million, to be a millionaire in your 20s, $160 a month in your 20s, by the time you're 65, you will be a millionaire. And 92, 93%, 94%, whatever the math is, going to come from growth. It's not going to be your own money. So, but if you want to get to a millionaire by 55, 30% of that money going to come from growth. You see the big difference? Right? Now, let's say if you say, oh, I'm 60 and I want to do well at 65. That number it cuts down almost in half. 14%, right? Or 15% to get you to $1 million will come from growth, right? And the other 80 something percent is coming from your own money. So at 65, you got to put in freaking almost $15,000 a month. So in 5 years, you can be a millionaire. Now, how much money you got to be making to be put in? At 60, you about to retire. A lot of companies don't want to, except you're some kind of executive or something. Where you going to get $14,000 a month, $15,000 a month to invest? Where? Tell me where. Robbing the bank? Doing some shady stuff? You can't work too many jobs because the place is too old. Your body already breaking down. You might look good on the outside, but on the inside, you're falling apart. And you're stressed out. So you look more older because you're stressed. And, if you can make it to 65 before dying from heart attack, then you'll be lucky. So, I preach this every day when I show you guys my portfolio. Guys, please, I beg you, please guys, open your brokerage account. Start investing with $1. Make it a part of your daily thing. If you can invest $1 a day, you do that for about a month to 6 months, your life is changed forever. If you can invest every day the market is open, $1 a day for 3 to 6 months, your life will be changed for the better. You are on your way to financial independence. Because you know what to say. You do things a week, 2 weeks, it becomes part of you. Now, if you can do that consistently for 3 to 6 months, you don't even have to think about it. You just like me. When I get up in the morning, I log into my computer, I check my accounts, I go brush my teeth, come back, do what I gotta do, work. When the market open, I check my account to see if the market's going up or down. If the market going down to where I need to spend some money, I'll buy. If something that's already way down in, that I'm negative in big time, oh, I'm buying that, 1,000 here, 2,000 here. So by the time that market go back up, I already did the cost average down. So, it helps keep my portfolio green instead of in the red. You think I sit here every day and just, yeah, man, my portfolio is doing great, I'm making money, showing off? No. I don't have to do YouTube to show off. I can buy a nice car and show you guys what I'm driving, all that stuff. I talk about my Tesla because I just got it. I love my Tesla, my Model Y. I made a couple of videos on my other channel, The Life of Edwin Ford. You guys can subscribe to that channel if you want to see what I do. Because I don't post what I do outside this channel. I have a couple of videos in there in the beginning, but I stopped doing that because I want this channel to be geared towards financial freedom, financial independence. And the best way I think to do this is to do what I've been doing. Is to be showing you guys, hey, anybody can do it. Anybody can do it. To a guy who's African descent, right? I'm African American, 100%. African and American. But from a guy from an African descent with no formal education in the market, other than day trading penny stocks back in the day, and getting burned out from that, Dividend saved my life. Because if I didn't find out about dividend investing, yeah, I'll probably still be investing in growth like I was doing back in the day. But every time I needed $1, I have to go sell my stock. Every time I need money, I have to sell my position. There's people that live off of that, but you have to have a lot more money to live off that. That money that you have to sell. That 3% rule, where if you over a certain amount of money, and you can live off 3% of your investment, right? Let's say if you need $25,000 to live, right? So you can do 25 times 25, 25 times 30, or 25 times 36, right? Years. And then whatever number you come up with, once your investment gets to that number, then it's safe for you to retire. You can do it in your 20s, your 30s, but whenever you get to that million mark, whatever that number is, 25 times, 30 times, 36 times, however you decide to calculate it. This is living off of growth, not dividend, right? If you sell 3% of that stock, overall stock, every year for you to live, right? You do it before the year or end of the year or whatever. You sell 3%, you put that money in a high yield account that gives 5%, and that will pay your bill for that year. And the rest of the funds is growing, right? It might go up and down, but it's still growing. And you can live off of that. Okay, that's fine. But I don't like the idea of selling stuff, right? Even if I got a stock that, except it's really doing bad, I don't sell it. Because at the end of the year, I can still write some of that off in taxes. So I don't really sell it. But if because you're making so much money, you have to find a way to bring your overall income down in tax burden. So sometimes the loss can help, right? But in the end is, if you're making a lot of money, you're going to pay taxes. So now you have to get real estate to help that tax burden, right? Real estate is a tax shelter, so you have to get real estate. You have all this cash coming in. If you have real estate, you can write those things off, fixing stuff, and you have a company, you can buy your car in your company name. Now that's a tax write-off too. So there are a lot of ways to do things. I'm not a tax professional, but I'll give you ideas when you talk to your tax guy. You can ask, and then he can give you the correct way to do it. But this is just ideas, right, on what I do with my taxes, what I talk to my tax person, right? But the overall goal is to be financially free. And financially independent is different for everybody. Because I'm here, if I'm in Colombia or anywhere in South America, $2,000 a month is more than enough. I pay less than $1,600 a month. And that's in Villavicencio. That's include my apartment. That's include my insurance on my car, which is like $100 and something a year. I think it's $132 or $128. It went up from the year before was 124. So I think it's now like 128 or 132 a year for my insurance on my car. And for light is more expensive because, of course, coming from the U.S., we're not used to the heat. So at night, to be sleeping comfortably, I'm going to run my AC. And sometime during the day when it's hot, I'm going to run the air conditioner. Like right now, the air conditioner is on, it's running. It's hot here, right? So to be comfortable and making this video and not sweating, I have to run the AC. Now over here in these apartments, this is one of the most expensive area in Colombia. This is Strata 6. So the light bill is higher because the rich people pay the light bill for the poor people in Strata 0 and Strata 1. Strata 2, whatever. We pay portion of their light bill. So on average, because this apartment is rented, on average, the light bill in this apartment, this is year round. I'm not talking about how old this is, because it's rainy season and it's dry season, right? But even during the rainy season, it's still hot because it's more humid when the rain for a little bit, and the sun is still out and it's hot. So it averaged between $200 to $500 a month. Now it depends on the guest. If the guests are Colombian, usually the AC is not as hot. It's not as high, right? If the guest is from Mexico or some other countries, they might use the AC a little bit more. Of course, if the guest is American, the AC is going to be running 24/7. So if I have American in here for 2 weeks, my light bill is going to be close to $500 at the end of the month, right? On average. So, I mean, that's all we got to do. You get a light bill 1.6 million pesos, almost 200,000 pesos, 2 million pesos. That's $600. It depends on the rate. Now, if the rate is lower, that's more. It costs more. But we're just doing it based on the rate, right? So, this is some things to consider. But when I'm here, I don't have to worry about paying no bills, no paying no hotel, no nothing. Now, the description for my Airbnb is in the detail for my Airbnb is in the description. If you look at the last video that I posted, is in the last 3 or 4 videos, it might be there. God just started adding it to the description of the Airbnb in Cartagena. And as soon as the Airbnb in the Dominican Republic get online, I'll be adding those to the channel too. So if you guys going to Punta Cana or San Domingo, I'm still looking at the one in Puerto Plata, but that haven't materialized yet. But as soon as those 2 come online, I'm gonna put those in the description also. And eventually, I'm probably gonna build a website that will have all this link in there, or like one of those links that have multiple things in there that you can just click on and see all the links. That might be something I'm gonna do. Something simple, something basic, something simple. Nothing crazy, right? Just something that have all the links and access to different things. So when you click on one link, everything can just pop up and you can just hit a tab. We'll have a big picture on there, say apartment, we'll say Discord, or whoever other links that I'm using. Of course, the other links will require work because that stuff changes all the time. I mean, everything changes all the time, right? Because of security reasons, they don't stay the same. But, those are some of the ideas that I have to make things easy. But I keep preaching to you guys to invest. Like I said, a lot of my friends that higher income, and there's 2. I've been divorced for over 20 years, right? 2008, I lost everything. This not in the divorce. I lost everything when the real estate market crashed, right? My goal at that time was like, I want to be a millionaire before I turned 35. It was at 30. I said, but before I turned 35, give myself. I was on track to do that, and the market crashed. I lost everything because at the time I was just buying houses and I wasn't really educating myself on how to sustain these houses should in case something happened. And back then I wasn't into looking at different things. I was just like, yeah, I'm on my goal to be a millionaire. I got 7 properties right now. I'm gonna get to 8. ninth, and when I get to 10, then I'm gonna sell all of those and take that money and buy an apartment building, and then once the apartment start to go, I'm gonna go and pull money off that and buy another apartment building. That was the goal, right? But I wasn't thinking about the what ifs. I was just thinking about growth, and I wasn't building a system to help monitor those things and track those things. I wasn't doing none of that. So of course, when the market crashed, and being a human being, we turn to be helpful to other people, right? Oh, Mr. Ford, I can't pay the rent today. I ain't get paid. My husband loves his job. Oh, you know what? I'll give you guys a couple of days to pay, because I'm a human. We trying to cater to people when they're in need, right? Even though it's a business, but at the time I wasn't looking at it as a business. I was like, oh shit, they can't pay the rent. I'll help them out, give a few days. But that few days, that eventually the rent never get paid. And I didn't have a system in place to say, okay, well, you can't pay the rent, you need to leave, so I can put somebody else in there who can afford to pay the rent. Because I wasn't at that point. Now, don't get me wrong, I had that in place, but as far as enforcing it, the humanity in me wouldn't allow me to do that. And then also the humanity in me took me to bankruptcy, because I felt bad for other people, and I wasn't thinking about myself. I was only focused on, they can't pay the rent. But I wasn't thinking about myself that, oh shit, I gotta pay this mortgage. And if I can't pay this mortgage, I'm gonna lose all the money that I put into investing into this property, all the money I did to renovate this property, to get it up to spec, to have renters in there. I wasn't thinking about that point until it hit me later on when I got the letter that, okay, well, you late and such and such, we about to foreclose your house if you can't pay this payment. And I'm like, oh, what am I gonna do? Getting dipped by agents who act like they're your friend, but because you take them out of certain deals, they try to mess you up so you can lose money. People are shady. So when that happened, I lost all the property that I owned to foreclosures, except for one that I kept. And at the time, I wasn't even living there because it was rented. But my tenant at that time was on Section 8. And Section 8 paid his rent. He's a young guy. Section 8 paid his rent. He couldn't even keep the light on. He had to come out. Because of him, they had to turn up cover the socket in the hallway, because he would plug the cable in the hallway to get light into the apartment, because he couldn't even afford to pay his light bill. But he was a young cat, so he was there until his lease expired, and I said, okay, you gotta go. And I went and renovated that apartment, and I moved back into that one-bedroom apartment. So I did that. But then at that point I was like, you know what do I do now? I lost everything. My goal to be a millionaire at 35 is shot. Now my credit is bad. Can't buy nothing. I had to reinvent myself, right? So fix the credit, buy a property, live in one, rent the other one, and start to build it back up, right? And I had many opportunities to buy properties, but because of what happened in 2008, I was gun shy. I was like, this can happen again. Even though I learned my lesson, and I got the system in place for that one property that I had rented, but for me, as far as taking the money and doing it again, it was hard. It was hard. But when COVID hit, I realized I can't be scared anymore. I lost my brother, my oldest brother, to COVID. He was a cool guy. He was a family man. Between him and my mom, kept the family together. And I miss that guy. We can go months without talking, but when we get on the phone and talking, you would think we talk every day. And when we hanging out, you would think we're together every day. That's just a relationship we have. Him and I say my younger brother, but I'm the youngest, but I'm next to my other brother. So I call him my younger brother because he's the youngest. I'm next to him. So we both young. But anyway, it doesn't make sense to anybody, but it makes sense to me. But he's my older brother, but I call him my younger brother because I'm next to him by a couple of years. And the same relationship, me and him, with the two of us. We got a cool relationship. We can go months without talking, and we get together. It's like we're together every day. He live in a different city. I live in a different city. But we see each other every few months when we exchange. My brother that disabled that we keep. But I'm saying all this with you guys so you can understand. Where I'm at now, it's not by accident. It's intentional. Because COVID taught me, when I lost my brother, COVID taught me that I was alone, even though I still have siblings. But how many times you think you can call your sibling and say, hey, I need $100, and they give it to you? How many times before they stop, when you call, before they stop answering your call? How many times do you can call your uncle or your cousins or your friends and borrow money from them before when you call them or send them a text message and they don't respond? I'll let you guys take a moment and answer that question. Because at some point, everybody's going to get tired of you. They're going to be like, this guy, he's a grown motherfucker. Now I'm like Kamala now, about to call Donald Trump a motherfucker, even though she didn't, but she did. Right? You have time when you were young. Nobody taught me how to do this. I learned this on my own, and I'm giving this to you guys for free, no cost. And I'm showing it to you guys that it can be done for free, no cost. Because I can say, you know what, I'm going to do this on Patreon, and I'm going to Patreon this stuff. If you need to see all the other detail, sign up to Patreon and pay me. No, we're not doing that. Right? At some point, the Discord, when we get to 1,000 subscribers, I'm going to, all the people that got membership now to the Discord are going to be free. Because everybody at Discord, if you need to contact me, you can contact me anytime. But when we get to 1,000 subscribers, we're going to start charging for the Discord. Now, it's not going to be a lot, right? Maybe $10 or something like that. I don't know. Whatever I decide at that point, right? Because people a lot of time when you get people information free, they're like, oh, it's free. It's worth what it's paid for, right? So if you don't charge people for stuff, they'll be like, oh, it's bogus because it's free. There's a lot of free information out there that's good information because it's what I learned it from. And it's what I'm practicing to get me where I'm at in 5 years, generating over $100,000 a year in income from dividend. I show it to you every day. I show it to you guys every day. Now, most of this growth, because I started investing in higher yield back then, but I wasn't putting in a lot of money like I do now. You know, I might spend $1,000 or $2,000 in the higher yield stuff just to help bring in some income towards the portfolio. And at that point, $24,000, $25,000 was more than what I needed to live in Colombia or in the DR. Because I'm living, I'm not coming to just have fun and go back. That's to live. And that was enough for me. But knowing I like to travel, and then my daughter going to college, this changed the whole thing. You going to college and need daddy to pay tuition. This changed my whole, point of view. I'm like, you know what? I'm already been investing in this stuff. It's already bringing me money. It's been bringing money for 3 or 4 years. So why not put more money into it? Right? Why not put more money into it? I didn't just start investing in the UMax last year. I've been investing into this for a minute. Probably like 3 years, maybe, if I can remember. Maybe 2. So remember, guys, I've only been doing this for almost 5 years. So I'm still a brand new investor. I haven't been doing this like Warren Buffett, who's been doing this for, you know, all his life, and he worked billions, right? I'm 51, about to be 52 in February, and maybe by the time I hit 52, I'll be a millionaire, right? That's a big difference from my 35-year-old goal to be a millionaire, right? But, and not only, I'm not just a millionaire in the stock market, I got properties too, right? So, and the way things are going, before I reach 55, I'll be a multimillionaire. That means I'll have multiple millionaires, multiple millions, not multiple millionaires. I'll have multiple millions. So you guys can do this too. Sign up to the brokerage account. Moomoo giving big stuff, up to I think 15 stocks, right, for free. You can get those stocks. If you don't like them, after you meet the requirement period, you can sell them, buy something what you like. M1 offers free stuff. Robinhood offer free stuff. Weibo offering free stuff. And the M1 got a requirement, you have to have so much money in the account, as they're gonna charge you $3 a month. But if you got $100 in it that's generating you over $3 a month, I mean, you ain't gotta worry about it, right? Because they're charging you, your money gonna grow. You just gotta keep adding more money, so you can get to that 10,000 mark. Or you can take a little loan on the money you got, then they're not gonna charge you, and you pay that money back, right? You pay that money back but you don't have to go get approved from the bank. If you got 10,000, you need 1,000 to borrow to pay something on your car, you can get a loan from them. You pay at a rate every month. You make a payment, and they don't charge you that $3. But you don't have to go get approved from the loan from a bank to pay for stuff. You know, I don't know. It's like, I don't know how else I can beg you guys to start investing in your future. You know, I know some people probably sign up, subscribe to the channel because they want to see me fail, right? Some people are like, oh, that idiot, he invested in them higher risk stuff. His account is going to go to zero. I can promise you guys that a lot of people, now I won't say all, but some people subscribe to this channel to watch me fail. And some people subscribe to the channel because they really want to learn. And like I say all the time, you don't have to invest in higher risk stuff like I do. You can invest in other stuff, because I don't only invest in higher risk stuff. My Fidelity portfolio, I mean, if I was investing in all higher risk stuff, I'll be generating over 100,000 in just that portfolio alone, instead of the 50-something thousand I'm getting now, because I invest in a lot of lower yield, 2%, 3%, 1%. Well, I stopped investing in 1%. Anything above 2% I keep. If it's closer to 2%, I keep it. But that's what I've been investing in over the years. So if everything go kapoof, I still got those investments that are going to generate my 24,000+ a year, and by the, and every year they're going to grow 24, 25, 26. They're growing every year, because right now I'm not taking that money out. And even if I'm taking money out, I'm only taking what I need to survive, and the rest is reinvested. So I'm still reinvesting, so the portfolio still is going to grow, no matter how much little money I invest. As you guys can see, whenever I buy stock, I buy positions, the next day when that is calculated into my tools, my income goes up, because the monthly income, the next 12 months, it's all 12 months, right? It's not like, oh, the end of this year is 100K. No, for the next 12 months, those income, they go up every month. So you guys remember, subscribe to the channel. You got to share the content. You know, comments is very much appreciated, because from the comments help me make new videos or make new content and provide more detail, more insight on different things that people might need or need to understand, right? Now, I'm not an expert. I'm not a financial advisor. I don't have that title. I financially advise myself, right? I'm a financial advisor to myself, to Edwin, not to anybody else. So I always tell you guys, you know, when I started the video, hey, this is just my experience. So do your due diligence. That's why I tell you guys that. So you can't say, oh, I followed that idiot, that African Kunta Kinte, whatever boy, and I'll lose all my money. If you need help, send me a message in the Discord. Send me an email. My email is in the bio in the channel. FordEdwin75@gmail.com. Send me an email. I don't check it all the time. I probably check the Discord more because that pop up as soon as somebody sends me a notification, it pops up. So send me a message, and I'll do what I can to help you by pointing you in the right direction. I'm not going to tell you, say, oh, buy this, buy that. But based on your risk level, I will make some recommendations, and you can go back and do your own due diligence. Say, hey, okay, based on your risk level, it's better for you to buy this or similar stuff. This is how you check to validate if it's a good payer, it's a bad payer, how long they've been paying. Like I tell you people all the time, I mean, buy the S&P 500. That should be good enough. Or buy all the dividend aristocrats, all the dividend kings. You don't have to buy all of them, but you can buy a few of them. You know, if you want to keep your portfolio of 10 stocks or 10 ETFs, then you buy those. And just, I mean, they don't pay a lot. But if you invest in for 20, 30 years, you're still going to be a millionaire, slowly. But if you need to do it fast, like I'm doing now to pay my daughter tuition, you need a higher yield. They're more risky, but you still can do it safely. You have the daily cost average. Okay, guys? Now we're almost at an hour. I got to go to the beach. I might be crispy by tomorrow on the next video. But, you know, we got to enjoy ourselves. We got to do what we got to do. So, thanks for watching, guys. Subscribe to the channel. Share the content. You know, and this is the end of another Edwin Talk. Until next week, Sunday, we're going to do another video. Now, I've been thinking of doing this video on live. Even though I might not have nobody watching it live, but I won't have to download and save the video. I can just update it. And I'm not showing anything personal, so I don't have to worry about that. Oh, man, maybe somebody's going to see my stuff. I mean, they're seeing the channel. And that's about it. So, usually it's just me talking. And I don't edit this video. Once it's done, whatever mistakes is in there, people, you correct me if you want to. You know, I'm just providing basic information and talking about what I like, right? My problems, my troubles, and where I'm at right now financially. So that's all I can do. That's how we do on Sunday. Now, eventually, hopefully, it will grow to where we can have other people on. We can have a conversation, and it'll be more fun, you know, as we build the channel. If you guys in the Discord want to talk on Sunday talk and then have a conversation, we can do a audio to where, you know, we can connect to the Discord, or I can send you guys a link, and we can all get on video and just talk, have a conversation, and you guys can give me your point of views, how things been working out. So we're still building the channel, and we need ideas to build a good and, you know, channel, and that can be successful for many people. All right, guys. So happy investment. Invest in your future. I love you guys. Peace.